Welcome back to Image Seeker. It's going to look a little different today. I'm not going to share a devotional with you. Instead, I want to share with you about a ministry that we began at our church this year that we have just seen God work in a mighty way. If you happen to follow any of my social media platforms, you've probably seen me talk about this ministry and promote it. And so I've had people asking questions. What does it consist of? How did you get it started? What do you do? And so I thought, what better way than to just make a quick video and let everybody know what we're doing and see if it doesn't give maybe you some ideas on things to do in your community. We began this at Hope Missionary Church. It's where we attend in Bluffton, Indiana. And we started the ministry in February. But my idea for it came on several years ago. We happened to be in North Carolina at the time visiting our daughter, and we went to church with her. And on that Sunday morning, they passed out grocery bags to their members. And they asked them to fill them up with the items that were needed for their food pantry. Then they told them what Sunday to bring the sack back. And then because their weather is so much nicer year-round than it is here, they told them to either put the bag on the back of their trunk or maybe behind their vehicle. And then they had people who would drive around through their services and pick up all of those bags of items for their food pantry. And I just thought, what a great way to get your church family involved in your ministry so that everybody has a part. And so I was just really encouraged by this, what they were doing, and I kind of cataloged it back in my mind, and I thought, maybe that's something that we could do at Hope. The thing was, we don't have a food ministry. So when I came back and I thought, well, at this time, it's just not anything that we need, and put it on the back burner and really didn't give it much more thought. And then COVID hit. And I started hearing about all the agencies and the food pantries that were scrambling to find stuff to put on their shelves. There has been such an increased need since COVID hit. And so at that time, they really needed help. And my brain went back to the idea that I had years ago of what I saw in North Carolina. And I thought, why couldn't we, instead of having a food pantry ourselves, why couldn't we just come alongside these agencies and collect items for them? I mean, not everybody has to have a food pantry, but you can come alongside ones that are already existing and make their life a little easier. So I went to our executive pastor at our church and I explained to him what my idea was and asked him if he thought it would be a go. And he was all for it. He said, what a great timing for this, because he said all of our missions trips that we normally take in a year's time, we take missions trips out of the country, we take mission trips right here in the United States. But all of those, of course, were being canceled. Why? Because of COVID again. And so he said, what a great way to do ministry right here in our own neighborhood. And that's just as important as going to another country. So he said, let's do it. He said, this is exciting. Let's go for it. So I then took the idea to our Sunday school class. And I explained to them what I wanted to do. And I said, would you guys consider taking this on as a ministry in our class? We would do the work. It takes some work. We would do the work, but we would take this on as a way that we could reach out to our community and help others. And they were all for it too. And so I knew we had the green light. And so the ministry Restock It is what we called it. The ministry Restock It was born. And we began ministering in February. Now this is the way that it works. We realized first off that we needed to have a list of agencies in our county that were doing this, that we either had a food pantry or some kind of an outreach to people. And, you think you know how many you have, but once you start searching, you realize you have a lot more than you thought you had. And so we thought, how do we go about even getting this list? Well, the Lord always provides. And we have a woman in our class by the name of Chris, and she had already worked with a lot of the people in our area a lot of the organizations, and so she had connections. And so Chris was so gracious to say, let me take it and run with it. Let me start making some phone calls and I'll get a list of agencies for us. And she did a phenomenal job. And so we had our list. And so in February, we selected the first one to help. And then we've done that every month since. Now, the way we begin is we contact the agency and we ask them for what they could use in their food pantry. Now, you may think, well, that's pretty self-explanatory. I mean, we all know what goes into a food pantry. Well, we found out we didn't, because each one's different. We found out you might contact one and they say, well, these are the items that we really need. The next food pantry may say, you know what, we don't have much call for those items with the people that are coming through our door, but we need these particular items. And we wanted to make sure that if we were going to come alongside them and help them, that we did so with products that would help them. If we give them products that they don't have a call for, that they don't have a need for, we're just wasting our time. And we didn't want to do that. We wanted to make sure that we specifically helped the organization with what they needed. So we asked each one to give us a list of items that they could use. We then take that list and print it up on a piece of paper, and we attach it to a grocery sack. And this is what it looks like. Very simple. This is one of the slips that we've used one of the months, and we just hook it to a regular grocery sack. And to do that, the first Sunday of every month, I tell our Sunday school class to make sure and bring their staplers. And then after class, we all work together to staple the piece of papers on the bags. And, you know, we all work together. It takes us 10 minutes. It's not a long process. But when you have several people working, you can get it done so quickly. And we have fun while we're doing it. So it's a great time together. So the first Sunday of every month, that's what we do. We staple the sheets onto the grocery sacks. The second and third Sundays of the month, we have 2 people from our class at each exit door of the church, and they have an armful of bags. And so as people leave to go home, we hand them a grocery bag. And we say, oh, this is this month's restock it bag, and it's got this month's list on it. And then people have the bag in hand. Also on that list, we tell them then at the last weekend of the month, the last Sunday, they need to bring that bag back, filled with some of the items that are listed there on the bag, and we will take the bag from them. Now, it took us a few months to get that last step figured out so that it ran smoothly. We weren't sure exactly how to do that here in this area, knowing that, the weather is not always compliant. And so we had to figure out the best way to get the bags back. And so after a few months, we were able to use the building that sits behind our church as kind of a hub center. And we ordered a banner to put on the outside of it that we put up every weekend that we're collecting. We also ordered signs that we put out by the road directing cars as to where they should go to drop off their bags. Our people then just follow the signs. They drive back to this building. We have some of our class members standing back there waiting for them, and then we take the bags directly from their vehicle. They don't even have to get out. They'll say the bags are in the back, or they'll say the bags are in the side door. And so we just open it up, get the bags, and that way they don't have to lift the bags again, and they don't have to get out. It's interesting when they pull up. It's so much fun to watch them come in, because we always tell them thank you and how much it means to us that they took the time to fill that bag. And it's interesting how many you hear say, no, thank you. We really wanted to be involved in a ministry, but we didn't know how. And we wanted to help area food pantries, but we didn't know what to take. And you make it so easy because you hand us a bag. It tells us what to put in the bag. And they said, we take it into the grocery store with us, or we take it into Walmart with us. And we just look at the list, decide what we want to buy from the list, put it in our sack, pay for it. And then many times they said, we just leave it in the car until Sunday. And then we know we've got it with us to be able to drop it off. And so it's so much fun to see them get excited. It's not uncommon for them to bring back their sack and maybe have a couple more bags from home that they filled just because they got excited and wanted to purchase even more. And so that's just such a blessing. We take the bags then from their vehicle and we put them right into one of our vehicles. The reason being is we realized that it would work more efficiently if we could deliver the bags on the same day that we collect them. And so we tell the agency that we're working with that we need somebody at their agency at noon on that collection Sunday. And so we can then drive our vehicles there with the bags inside and deliver them immediately. We realized it was just kind of spinning our wheels if we were going to just say put all of the bags in the building and then figure out a time during the week for our members to drive to the church to fill up their vehicles and then find a time to go to the agency. It just was more time effective if we could deliver that same day. So bags are just taken out of people's cars and put right into one of our vehicles, and we just fill up our vehicles so that they're ready to roll. Another thing that we do that we kind of added to it was we decided that if we were going to be working together on these Sundays, we needed to eat lunch together too. It's always more fun when food's involved. And so whoever's on the shifts for that particular Sunday, we have a carry-in. And so during one of the services when we don't need to be out there collecting bags or when we don't need to be at the doors handing out bags, we eat lunch together. And I'm telling you, if you want to grow your church, if you want to build relationships in your church, this is the way to do it. Meet together, fellowship together, eat together. It has really bonded us, and we really have a great time doing this ministry. So then at noon we go over, we take all of the bags in for the organization, and then it's their job, of course, to unsack everything and categorize it and put it where they need it. But God has just blessed this ministry tenfold. The people at Hope Church have been absolutely amazing. I am telling you, they just continue to bless us month after month after month. They're excited. They're more than willing to help. As I said, they bring multiple bags sometimes. They have just really supported this ministry, and I cannot thank them enough for getting behind this and helping us in such a powerful way. Honestly, I didn't dream that it would go this well. I didn't. I thought maybe we would do it for a few months and then would kind of lose interest. I think interest is picking up. And so we have just had so much fun doing this ministry for the Lord and for those in need in our community. You don't always have to be the one that has the ministry. Let me explain that. Some people have said to me, LuAnn, why didn't you just start a food pantry? Number one, I didn't feel led to start a food pantry. I didn't. I felt led to come alongside other food pantries. And sometimes you're not called to reinvent the wheel. You're called to help the wheel run more smoothly. And so that's what we have tried to do with the Restock Up ministry, is just to come alongside the area food pantries and help them with whatever they need help with. Now you may wonder, why am I explaining all this? Well, like I said at the beginning, some were asking questions, and so I thought maybe this would answer questions for you. Another reason is I got to thinking, what would happen if other churches, if other organizations in other counties caught the vision of a ministry like this? You wouldn't have to call it Restock It, but maybe you are the one that should start doing this in your county, in your community. I know there's a need because we're already being asked if we would consider helping agencies in other counties, and we can only do so much. But if we got other organizations to catch the vision and to get a glimpse of what can be done in a very simple ministry like this, think of all the people that could be helped. And so I wanted to share our story with you in case you would like to do something like this. And if you would and you have more questions, contact me. My email address will be there on the screen. Shoot me an email. Ask me what questions you have, and I'll do my best to answer them for you. Another reason I wanted to share is I thought maybe you need a push. Maybe God hasn't laid on your heart to start a Restock It ministry, but He's laying on your heart to do something else for Him. And you're dragging your feet because you're scared to death. I was scared. I was nervous that day I went to our executive pastor, wondering what his reaction would be, or when I took it to the class, whether they'd look at me like, oh, what are you talking about? But you know what? God is faithful, and when He lays something on your heart, He works out all the details. And so I just want to give you a little push. Whatever God's laid on your heart, take a step. Start talking about it to other people. Get their opinions. Get their ideas. Start to work with other people. There are so many things that can be done in this world to reach out to our community. And if God's asking you to do that, I just want to give you a little push today to start taking that first step and doing what He's asking you to do. Hey, don't forget to subscribe to my channel here, my Image Seeker channel, so that you won't miss any videos that come up in the future. There's already several videos there that you can go back and watch of devotionals that I have taught. And in not too distant future, I'm going to have another series we're going to begin on the fruit of the Spirit. So you're not going to want to miss that. So make sure today and go over and subscribe. And that way you'll know when the new videos are up. Hey, thanks so much for listening today, for joining me. And I hope you are just having a fantastic day serving our Lord Jesus Christ. Thanks again, and I'll see you soon.